Tag TV and Tag Radio. Be seen and heard by both technology users and technology producers throughout the state of Georgia and around the world. Low cost, big benefits, powerhouse online branded video and audio has arrived. Tag TV, Tag Radio, there's a lot more to know. This edition of Tech Talk is brought to you by GlobalSpeak.com, new media consultants, corporate video and audio communications, video and audio production and distribution, live and virtual event production. Tag TV and Tag Radio is a service of GlobalSpeak.com, creatively delivering powerful marketing, video, and audio solutions. Things are moving so fast that if you blink, you'll miss something that just might be the difference between more leads and the competition beating you to the business. Forget everything you thought you knew about direct marketing or traditional advertising media. What if you could reach an audience of over 500 million and specifically target just the ones that were looking for you and are ready to do business right now? Greetings, everyone. It's Thursday, December 9th, 2010, and this is Tech Talk with Technology Association of Georgia President Tino Mantella. I'm your guest host, Frank Paya. If you think change is a couple of coins you find under the couch pillow, you probably are still buying traditional media services to generate leads. Well, real change has come, and it's all about lead generation results in a blink. BLiNQ Media and the disruptive technology using mobile and social media, search marketing, and what's called performance display. They even show you how to make money selling from a mere social action. What's that, you say? Well, up to the Tech Talk on digital media strategy is Charles Lumpkin, VP of Media Operations for BLiNQ Media. Charles has delivered results with multi-million-dollar budgets by companies demanding disciplined, intelligent, and measurable Internet marketing. Having executed thousands of online marketing campaigns, he has generated over $200 million in revenue for brands and agencies such as the Home Depot, Brinks Home Security, Liberty Medical, Buffalo Wild Wings, Mentos, AT&T, and many, many more. Small to medium size or major player, the advertising world has, well, changed. This is a need-to-know Tech Talk on the evolution of Facebook into one of the world's largest markets and the secrets to how to increase your company's presence and bottom line as we Tech Talk social media advertising with noted expert and BLiNQ Media VP, Charles Lumpkin. Charles, welcome to Tech Talk.
Hey, thanks for having me on the show today. I appreciate it.
We'll start with a real easy question. Focus in on this one. What's going on in the advertising world? If you know the answer to that, I think you must be some kind of guru or mystic because it looks like Facebook is really starting to get traction.
Yeah, it is. I mean, Facebook, it's crazy. Over the last couple of months, really over the last couple of years, Facebook in particular has just seen an incredible amount of traction. I mean, just a few weeks ago, we saw, studies came out that showed that 14% of all time spent on the Internet is spent on Facebook.
Amazing.
On top of that, 24% of all impressions delivered online are delivered on Facebook. So it's there's a lot going on in the advertising world, some really cool stuff going on in mobile, but we're super excited about what's happening in social, particularly with Facebook, and the ad platform there is evolving really rapidly. It's an exciting time to be around in the advertising world.
Well, obviously, we've seen over the last several years the let's call it the dilution, if not the demise, of traditional media. We have seen the evolution now of what is many call new media or direct marketing campaigns, direct digital marketing campaigns. How do you see the advertising platform evolving? I mean, Facebook obviously is going to be playing a critical role in that, but kind of give us an idea about, is it, it's sort of like when newspapers were threatened by radio and radio was threatened by TV, now it's the Internet. Is there a place for everybody, or do you see it really beginning to focus in on it more like a black hole as far as the digital world is concerned?
I saw a study just last Friday that showed that aggregated up all of the new media companies, basically the online companies and companies like that, versus an aggregation of all the, big old world media companies. Here you're talking about the Disneys of the world, right? Mm-hmm. And as of today, the new media companies have aggregated up as much aggregate market, basically market share as the old media companies have. So basically the eclipse is happening, and for sure we're seeing that online rates are going to continue to push forward, particularly on Facebook. Things are, we expect to see spends there increase dramatically over the next couple of years. But just like you were saying, when TV came in and threatened radio, it didn't collapse radio. Radio's still around, right? And the same with newspapers. There's going to be a fair amount of disruption, and there is a fair amount of disruption happening in those marketplaces right now. But it's not going to eliminate them by any means. They'll have to change their model in some cases.
Leverage messaging to amortize some of the investment in some of the other media and be able to cross-media market and that kind of thing?
Absolutely.
One of the things that has evolved recently on a large scale in the city of Atlanta is the whole state of Georgia is the digital entertainment industry, and there's a lot of conversation around digitainment, the idea that digitalization and this whole broadband connectivity is impacting not only the verticals of television, radio, broadcast, and multiple mass media player and online gaming, but it's also impacting not only vertically but horizontally. And so I guess my question is, when you start dealing with that kind of communication, that kind of collaboration, that kind of entertainment, and, in the old school we used to say push and pull as far as marketing is concerned. Is it more participatory, or, how do you see it evolving in terms of just the nature, not only the platform, but how messaging and marketing is going to look in the next couple of years?
I mean, I think you nailed part of it is making sure that you're leveraging. The old media should leverage new media channels, for instance. Entertainment should leverage as many channels as they can. We have a couple of clients who are big into the entertainment industry. Turner is one of our clients, for instance, and they use our band platform and Facebook to drive tune-in campaigns, for instance. So, they drive a fair share of advertising. They're trying to get a lot of eyeballs in particular niches to tune into particular TV shows, and they're actually really effective at it over the last couple of years. So,
well, can you actually relate to TV, or do we just call it a distribution appliance? Is it really going to be a TV in the future, and is it just going to be an app that you're going to have on an iPhone?
That's going to be interesting to see evolve over the next couple of years. I mean, there's debatably some disruption going on in the TV space right now. In the next 5 or 10 years, TV, I think it's going to look a lot different than it does today.
Well, I'm convinced that obviously these applications and the idea of clouds and the ability to be able to have total mobility is going to really redefine how we get our messaging, how we get our entertainment. One thing for sure, I know as far as BLiNQ is concerned, there's only a handful of companies with access to Facebook Ads API. What have you guys done with this partnership?
Yeah, well, we got access to Facebook Ads API last year, about October, and it was a rigorous process to go through and get approved, and then get on the accepted vendors list.
Really?
But I don't know if you've probably not ever run a campaign on Facebook, but to do it through Facebook's self-serve system is pretty painful if you're going to do anything in scale. So you might. We typically, when we're going and running a campaign, or when our clients run a campaign, we'll launch hundreds or thousands of variations of a particular message and then target derivations in the market. So we might split up different age buckets, and then we might split up different kind of interests, things that people might be interested in, and then we'll have all of these different types of creatives that will be thrown out there into each one of those segments. And when you put it all together, you can launch hundreds or thousands of different iterations into the Facebook marketplace very quickly, right? You can get that done in 20 minutes where, if you had things ticked and tied beforehand and you were using the Facebook self-serve system, it might take you, if you're doing 100 variations, it might take you 200 minutes to put them in, to put them into the system, much less actually do anything smart with them. So, just the deployment time has been reduced significantly, but it allows us, because we can think more smartly instead of working harder, it allows us to just do some really cool things and gain some really great efficiencies. It's kind of the world of Facebook advertising is a bit of the wild, wild west, and it's exciting to be a part of it because you're really at the bleeding edge of what's happening in internet advertising. I mean, Facebook is just evolving so rapidly right now. It's just incredible to be a part of it. I mean, we come in there, and we'll find new things that we didn't know you could do. We'll be basically we're kind of pioneering and creating the best practices and teaching people how to best use Facebook system and the BAM tool to really take advantage of campaigns.
Well, I think for some of our listeners, would you say that one of the key factors of any kind of social media is focus and commitment? Because a lot of what you're saying is that you can't just go to it and kind of accidentally discover how to use it. You've got to mine it and work with it and get a discipline and understand how the ecosystem works before you can really make it as efficient as you're talking about doing it. That obviously is coming not only from your level of technology expertise, but your knowledge and understanding of that platform.
Oh, for sure. You've got to commit to it. There's no doubt about it. And typically, so we're not an agency, so we don't actually typically put together, fan page strategies or Twitter strategies or things like that to kind of bring the whole ecosystem together. We're typically part of that. We might be driving fanning activity, for instance. If you've got, but you have to have something there to catch people, right? So you don't want to send them into an environment where there's nothing happening. You got to have some activity going on there. So we're typically a part of the time, we're typically just focusing on the advertising piece as a media and technology company.
Well, clarify that for us a little bit, though. I mean, what products does BLiNQ offer to its clients?
So we sell advertising on an IO basis, which stands for insertion order. So people come to us and they'll purchase basically Facebook advertising through us, and we sell that on a CPM, a CPC, or what we call a CPSA basis, which stands for cost per social action. And so we'll go out there, we set up a deal, for you guys or whomever, and then we actually go and buy this media and then sell it out to you. So it's basically we have an insertion order business, so actually selling Facebook advertising, and then we have our BAM business, which is technology, and we license that to these very large media buying companies and large consumer brands.
Okay, so because one of the things I'd like to think I'm reasonably knowledgeable about some of this space, but I'm hearing things that are baffling me and pretty impressive. Cost per social action. How do you monitor social actions enough to qualify and quantify them?
Sure. Well, you have typically we're driving a lot of in the ecosystem kind of actions and what we call social actions. So if you're on Facebook and there are 550 million people on Facebook, there are 200 million people who access Facebook via their mobile device on a regular basis. It's just a tremendous number of people that you have.
There's no equivalent media, right? That's a pretty amazing number in terms of reach. When we used to talk about reach and frequency, that's obviously a fairly solid reach.
Yeah, it's tremendous. It's huge. So social actions is when somebody's executing something inside of the ecosystem. So that may be becoming a fan, or what are now called liking campaigns. It may be RSVPing to an event. It may be the installation of an application, right, onto their profile.
By definition, it's an action. It's not passive. You're actually taking an action within the confines of the ecosystem.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay.
So we try to hone it down and really get people as many actions for their dollar as we possibly can. It's kind of a run right now for it's kind of a land grab for people and for people getting actions and getting likes onto their fan pages, for instance. You've got a handful of really smart brands that are out there kind of really just clearing ground and, amassing huge Facebook presences. and we work with a bunch of these guys, and you can go out and build these huge audiences on a very cost-effective manner right now. It may not be that way in 2 years, but you can certainly do it right now. I mean, if you can go out there and aggregate out tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, or millions of fans and be able to interact with them, it's a fantastic vehicle to be able to continue to remarket to people, right? So you can have the conversations with them, integrate it into your total strategy. But I mean, it's a great vehicle to to just aggregate out these huge fan bases. If you get, we have a couple of clients that are in the 2, 3, 4 million fan range. If you want to go juice up sales, you can do it actually. If you with some smart marketing into just remarketing into the base, it doesn't cost you anything going forward to continue to message to those people.
I can tell you, Charles, I wish we had an hour because some of the information I got to feel is extremely valuable, but I guess that's why you guys charge, because you have this knowledge and information. But I got to ask before we go, because we're running short on time, but give us maybe, there's two things immediately come to mind. First off is, I know this is not fair, but how expensive is this kind of thing? Is it something that's affordable for small to medium-sized operations, or is it the Turner that can only do it? And then last but not least, maybe throw out a couple of things that a brand can do on Facebook to increase their presence.
Sure. So we typically, for licensing the technology, we focus on, big brands and kind of large agencies and media holding companies and buying shops. We do have, for our IO offering, there's actually no minimum per se. So that can work for, medium-sized businesses. Mm-hmm. But the cost really depends what you're trying to do, what you're trying to accomplish, and so the cost vary pretty widely.
Okay, and then just real quick, to end it up, is there a couple of suggestions or recommendations of what a brand can do on Facebook to increase its presence? I mean, I guess really what you're saying is by the dedication of a strategy, a fixed strategy where you actually get involved in things like social actions and those kind of things, it isn't a simple answer.
Sure. Well, you certainly have the earned media, and you certainly can grow fans organically to your page, for instance. Building up a solid fan page these days is going to be a cornerstone in a lot of people's marketing strategies going forward. Let me just reiterate: 24% of all impressions online are driven on Facebook, 14% of all time. So if you haven't thought, it's basically impossible to now ignore it. So it's critical to have a solid fan page strategy in place. Now, when you're actually aggregating up those fans, you can use your existing media channels. You can grow it by offering value to your fan base. But where we're particularly useful and effective is coming in and advertising and acquiring new fans, acquiring RSVPs, installs, et cetera. So I would recommend to certainly go in and think about doing basically earned media kind of things. But, hey, the race is on, so I would encourage people to check out the paid media. Really, really exciting. And, of course, if they want to get in contact with you, the URL is? BLiNQmedia.com, BLiNQ, MEDIA.com. BLiNQ Media, BLiNQ, MEDIA.com, BLiNQ Media. We've been visiting with Charles Lumpkin. Charles, I got to tell you, man, a lot of insightful comments, a lot of I think from some, not maybe from your perspective, but from our listening audience, some visionary perspectives that are helping us to understand not only where things are, but where they're going. Can't thank you enough for taking time to join us today on Tech Talk. Well, I really appreciate you guys having me, and everybody have a great day.